Hello friends, today we will discuss about the classes and objects and the class members, access modifiers and the difference between the value type and the reference type. So let's start with the first concept, that is the classes and the objects. So what are the classes? A class is a user defined blueprints, or you can say a prototype from which a object can be created. So classes combines the fields and the methods into a single unit. For example, this is the blueprint of the classes. Like this is the blueprint of the car. Car can be BMW, Audi, or Ferrari, or any type of car. So this is the simple blueprint, and this is the particular design using that blueprint. For example, whenever we are going to build one home, then we need a map, or we can say a blueprint for making that home. So this is the class like as a blueprint, and the objects which are like a you can say a real time this is classes are like virtualization, and objects are the real time entity. Okay, so let's move to the next thing. This is I will show in the code like how to create the class and its class members, constructors, and so many things in particular class. Then we will going to learn about how to initialize a object or initialize a class, you can say. What are the value types and what are the reference type? So basically, in our C sharp, integer, double, struct, or any type of numbers, you can say it's considered as a value type. And any strings or text or anything related to text or characters, just like classes, object, string, interfaces, these are considered as a reference type. So basically, what is the difference between the value type and the reference type? Value type, it contains the direct memory allocation. You can say the data direct stored to the stack in a value type. But in the reference type, it don't contain a particular data. It's just contain a reference, like where we need to store the data. Like this is the reference, and it's showing like this number is stored in this particular index or this reference, you can say. So it's stored in the heap. So value type cannot be null. Like whenever you are going to initialize an integer, like int I equals to 0, int I equals to null. So what is the difference between 0 and null? 0 is like it's a number, it's not a null. But you cannot define int I equals to null because value type cannot be null. And reference type are by default considered as a null, and integer by default considered as a 0. Then we will discuss about the access modifiers in our C sharp. Okay, so let's move to the code. In our last video, I have shown you like how to create a .NET console in Visual Studio Code. So I have created this Prithart application as a console application using the command .NET console, .NET new console. And now I am going to show you like what are the classes and its members. So this is the namespace. Namespace, why we use a namespace? We use namespace to segregate our modules or our components, like according to our application. If there is multiple objects, multiple components or modules, then we can segregate using a namespaces. Okay, this is for the user convenient, you can say. And then we will create the class. This is the class program, and this is the main method. So main method is like a entry point for the application. Okay, so now I am going to create some class members. So firstly I will create the field, like public string, let's say my field equal to string dot empty. So string dot empty uh, already given by the C sharp, or you can simply define as a null. but string dot empty, it's given by the C sharp assemblies. Then you can create the constructor. So constructor name should be the same as a class name. Oh, sorry, just the particular uh, convention so that code will look good. I'm going to create a constructor which will be the same name, program. Okay, so this is the constructor. Why we use constructor, I will discuss about later in our next video of the constructors. So constructor can be parameterized or parameterless. So by default, it's a parameterless constructors. So now I'm going to create the method of that class. Public void my method. So why we use void? If we don't want to return anything, then we can use this method as a void. Console dot, sorry. So why we use console dot write line and console dot read line? I already described in our previous video. I am showing the message. Hello class. This is the method. Okay. So you can create your own methods by giving the parameters or parameterless if you want, like anything you can create. For example, I'm going if we want to provide the parameters in the particular method, then for example this is the param1, then second parameter will be string, for example param2. So these are the parameters of that method. Okay, now I'm going to show you like how we create the auto implement properties. Public int my auto implement property. We use the get set method to define the values in that particular property. So this is the auto implement property. Okay, then we will provide a variable, or you can say a property. You can give any access modifier like public or private, whatever you need. And my property val. Okay, so in our main method, I'm going to show you like how to initialize the particular class. This is the program. Okay, how to initialize this? Program dot, for example, I'm going to alias this name as a p1 equals to new program. Okay, so this is how we initialize the class. Then if you want to access the objects, or you can say properties of that particular class, like I have created this my property var and my field, then how to access this? Then you can access this with a particular alias name like p1 for the class name dot, it will show you all the methods, all the properties and all the things into particular class. So I am going to show you like this is integer value. You can see, here like int program my property var integer, and if you are going to give the string value here, I'm going, then it will give the error like this is the integer. So you have to give the integer value. Then p1 dot my field, this is the string field. If if you're going to put this as integer, then it will give you error. Then you can give any string. I'm going to give Prithat. Okay, so this is how it works. You can print this also, like I'm going to print. I'm going to print this. So how to run this? .NET run. It's worked. So here you can see p1.myfield. So what is this error? Because I have given this into string. That's why. If you want to check a particular value in that, then you have to simply give this value as a p1.myfield. Okay, it's working. I have given the value Prithad services, which showing here. Now I'm going to show you like what are the access modifier and what is the benefits and uses and implementation of the access modifier. Okay, so for example, I'm going to create this class as employee 2. You can see there are two properties like a name and the salary. I have considered the salary as a double, and these are the get set. You can say a property for getting the name, get name. This is the public field. So the child class which is going to use this parent class which can implement this property get name and the salary. But you are saying I have given this access modifier private for this particular fields of name and salary. Okay, so I have created this child class. For example, this is the private test, it's a child class. Or you can say this is not a child class, this is basically a new class. Okay, and this in this new class, in this second class I have created the main method, and I'm going to initialize the first class, that is the employee 2. I have showing I will show you like you cannot access these fields private because this is a private access modifier. Okay, for example, string n equals to e dot name and double e equals to e dot salary. Okay, so you cannot access these fields because it will show you this is inaccessible. You can show this message from the C sharp IntelliSense like employee dot name is inaccessible due to its proper protection label. So because I have given this as a private. So if you want to access this field through you have to going through this get name field. Like in this get name I have used this property. You can use this get name and this salary method, sorry, salary property, which is the public field. Okay, let's run this. Oh, sorry. So main method should be particular meaning because this is a main for, so it will not work here. I already told you like main method is the entry point. You cannot change the name of this main method. Okay, so it's working. Thank you guys.